Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Tarek, I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I am playing Duke Nukem 3D. And normally that wouldn't really be exciting whatsoever because tons of people play it and talk about it online. But I am playing the new Raytracing version of Duke Nukem 3D released yesterday, at least as of the recording of this video, by developer Postmometic. And I will say, even though this is basically just confined to the first episode and parts of 2, I absolutely love my time with Raytrace Duke Nukem 3D. I think you should definitely play it because honestly, do we need another reason to play Duke Nukem 3D? You don't have to really justify it to yourself, just go and play the game one more time. And I will say the ray tracing in here is absolutely amazing, and it really does give a lot of modern life to a very retro game. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we have a Patreon link down below as well. But I remember first playing Duke Nukem 3D back in the day on my DX46, absolutely loving it, and it was one of those things, I still play this game maybe once every few years. Most recently the Voxel version of Duke Nukem 3D, which was absolutely a blast as well. And in some ways I hope they combine both the ray tracing version and the Voxel version of Duke together into one master release just to have some fun with. But I will say the ray tracing here absolutely works. It'll be more or less intense depending on what's going on in the scene. And honestly, when you accidentally make a mistake like shooting off that rocket launcher because it comes up because you ran out of pistol ammo, the entire screen's going to fill with light and you're going to end up dead and laughing at yourself because you knew that was definitely going to happen. Because honestly, every single time I play Duke Nukem 3D, I die in the exact same way by getting the secret rocket launcher and then absolutely duffing it when I run out of pistol ammo in the beginning. But it's one of those things, you make the same mistake twice, it's on you, definitely not the game's fault. But obviously it should be crystal clear visually just how impressive this is as we go into this little room back here. As you fire off the weapons, all of the actual walls light up. All of the lights in the game are going to be responsive and actually cast those light rays down. And that atomic health right there makes the wall glow. It is a very well put together thing. It does just enough without going too overboard in the overall ray tracing. And the nice thing is, in the ray tracing menu, you have control for basically every single lighting function and every single value you could possibly want. And this fire here flickering on the wall absolutely makes this feel more like a boomer shooter released in 2026 in the pixel art style with ray tracing than a first-person shooter released in the mid-90s. And because Duke Nukem 3D still holds up every bit as good today as it ever has before, this is definitely going to be an absolute blast. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me, ray tracing in old games, how do you feel about it? I feel like most people love it, but I would be curious. And I always forget that there's going to be one more enemy behind me popping up. But as we open up the very fun, very not Easter egg at this point in time, the movie theater screen, take a look at the ground. You're going to see that warm red glow on both the movie screen as well as the fire coming from the right hand side of the screen. It's casting onto the walls, and every bit of path tracing there makes perfect sense. That's how the light would work in real life if you had a fire in a movie theater that was showing adult sort of stuff. One of those things, definitely don't have a fire in one, but if it did exist, that is how it would look. And when you get the rocket launcher plume coming up, it lights up the floor all the way to the ceiling in so many effective and fun ways. And again, it's not going to make Duke Nukem 3D any more quote-unquote fun. If you don't love the game, ray tracing isn't going to make you suddenly love it. But if you absolutely love Duke Nukem 3D and have fond memories of it like I do, getting to play it one more time with full ray tracing is just kind of the icing on a very Duke Nukem 3D cake. But I will say this takes a little bit of setting up to get running, and it can be ever so slightly unstable, getting a few crashes here and there. And even though there is a crash hotfix on the actual GitHub repository, which I have linked down below, I still managed to crash the game a few different times. So just be aware, use quick saves if you're going to play around with this one. And again, for the most part, all of the perfect ray tracing is going to be in episode 1 with a little bit in episode 2. And taking a look at the developer's own trailer here, I will leave a link to the YouTube channel down below so you can watch the entire thing. It really is impressive seeing side by side just how well this actually works, because it's one of those effects, you don't notice it until you're looking for it. You think that maybe that was what the game looked like back in the day, but it absolutely did not. Let's go into the first of 2 soundtrack samples just because I'm going to make you listen to Duke Nukem 3D, but pay particular attention to the lighting model because that really is what we're here for today.
Groovy.
I mean, honestly, it sounds incredible, and now it looks even better. And in this hallway here, it really goes to show in the darker areas, the ray tracing effect's going to be that much more important. You'll see here, even as the pig cop rocks around, that atomic health in the background is going to glow and be blocked by his actual sprite. Now, I want to give you one word of advice. If you're going to try to play this one, I will show it again on the GitHub link. This requires the World Tour version of the game. When you actually run it, it only looks for one specific pathway. The developer talked about in their own YouTube video that they bound it to C, but I found that it didn't matter where you had the files. The only place it's going to look is where Steam would install the World Tour version of the game in that specific directory. And the nice thing is, if you don't have that right now, it is on sale for $1.99. So honestly, for $2, less than the cost of a really bad old hot dog at 7-Eleven in Chicago, you can be able to play Duke Nukem 3D in ray tracing. And again, I absolutely screwed up the exact same thing there, ran out of ammo and blew off that rocket launcher. And that's just a thing. I chronically do it in Duke Nukem 3D. I don't think I'll ever stop. But just remember, if you're trying to run this and it says it can't actually find the textures that it needs to be able to do all of the ray tracing with, that means you don't have the actual base game installed in the right directory. It tripped me up for like 20 minutes or so until I just thought to myself, maybe they're using the Steam pathing only, and that's exactly what it is that I found. And again, even though they say they fixed up most of the crashes, and that is true, the version I tried before actually trying the hotfix was a lot crashier. If you get a crash here or there, really don't be surprised, because even though this thing is out and it is an absolutely amazing effort, it really is still one of those things. It is not 100% complete, and I'm sure it'll get there at some point in time, but today it just really isn't. And you'll see here as we go into these different quote-unquote very fun movies to watch on your own booze, you will see all of the different lighting going on. So taking a look at the GitHub page, these are the directions on how to get it to run, and when you actually do the launch duke.rt.command file, that is when it'll actually look for the actual texture installation in the Steam pathing and be able to get the game 100% prepared for you. And again, it's only working with the 20th Anniversary World Tour Edition, so keep these things in mind, because if it trips me up for 20 minutes, it's probably going to trip you up for at least 20 minutes to maybe an hour as well. And you'll see here under the current status, episode 2 and 3 are not done yet, and there are some issues, so definitely just consider this an episode 1 thing. And for some reason, by default, when you launch the game, ray tracing rendering will not be selected, so you actually won't get any of the ray tracing included in the build. Hopefully that can be pivoted up in the future, but just make sure that your preferred rendering API is going to be RT or ray tracing, or you'll end up playing a really fun vanilla version of Duke Nukem 3D, which usually wouldn't be a big deal whatsoever, but because we are here for ray tracing, it's another thing that just doesn't work off the top. These are very small issues, not complaints, but just telling you about them. One more soundtrack sample though, and I'll be back with a little bit more ray tracing.
Groovy.
I mean, really, you can't go wrong when you play Duke Nukem 3D, and even though the actual Duke Nukem Forever that released is not a good time, the Duke Nukem Forever fan restoration based upon the DNF leak from last year is absolutely still a classic, and I really wish that is the game that came out. And it's one of those things. Gearbox Games might actually own the rights to Duke Nukem 3D, but it seems like they have absolutely no plans. And even though there'd probably have to be some changes overall to the character in 2026, I feel like Duke Nukem 3D could still absolutely have a modern new game, maybe where Duke actually is a little bit past his prime in the world, and the world moved on without him, but they actually realized one day they need him back because he's the only one who can stop the alien invasion. So they basically have to figure out how to have a Duke Nukem in 2026 as far as the storyline is concerned. At least in my head it seems like a fun time, but really I just want more Duke Nukem. And if you lose ray tracing, every once in a while you'll launch the game and it just will not work. You have to go out, quit, and then go back into it. Because you'll see here the ray tracing is actually on, but for some reason it wasn't working in any episode I tested. So if that happens, just be aware, quit your game, relaunch it, and it should be perfectly fine. Because you'll see here, even the original episode, the ray tracing is no longer rendering. Just another small bug, and again, this is still basically day 0 stuff, so I'm sure it will get better. But if you want to test this one today, the link to the GitHub to grab Duke RT is in the description below, and it definitely is worth your time, and I hope the developer sees this through to the finish line. Other than that, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.